I think it really is a tricky issue in our industry as we look at the range of different behaviours we've seen over the last 20 years. One of the most striking things you see when you look at private equity is that the difference in performance between the best performers and the less good performers is very profound. David Swensen in both his books in fact makes that point, which is that there can be as much as 40 or 50% difference between good and bad. So the really interesting question becomes, what's causing that variation, and can we learn something from that variation which will cause better investing in the future? The easy things to set aside are multiple expansion and debt pay down. And so mathematically you can get at those, and if you've got enough information you can strip those out. The alarming insight that comes from that is that a very large proportion of the industry and the vintages for different players in the industry don't achieve the required rate of return for the industry, and to the extent to which they achieve positive returns at all have been achieving that through debt pay down and multiple expansion. The problem with that equation is that it's only really replicable in very positive market circumstances. The reality is that the old-fashioned notion of apprenticeship is fundamental to creating, dare I say, master craftsmen. I'm not claiming to be such, but in any industry where a high level of achievement is required based on a combination of experience and instruction, apprenticeship is fundamental and critical. And so I think a really interesting question for investors to ask and for people to look at in the industry is, what evidence is there of a bona fide, real apprenticeship that suggests that these investors have the unique skills to identify and to deliver superior performance? And if it's right that apprenticeship is a long drawn out, hard-earned process, it should be a matter of signal reality in the person's resume and CV that they know how to do that. And so if the person's got strong transactional background, they'll know how to do transactions. They may not know all the things they need to know about how to do business performance engineering. They may supplement that through a kind of a revolving door mechanism, which is each time we buy a business, we buy a good manager. But effectively that makes it hard for investors to know what the brand is they're investing in, because they're investing in a high-risk revolving decision, which is very hard to make, around management selection. If that was the case, then you might find a lot more HR and executive search people running GPs.